Hello, welcome to the Teal Jack channel. My name is Todd. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch one of my videos. No, this is not a defund the police t-shirt. It is a defund fake news from Mark Dice. Anyway, what I'm discussing today has to do with what we kind of see going on around our country right now. If you listen to the news, you will see that the Democrats have left the state of Texas and gone to, like, I guess, Washington, D.C. on a private plane. And Governor Abbott is threatening to have them arrested for not doing their job. And you hear some rhetoric from the Republicans that they need to get back, they need to do their job. Some of the Republicans are very upset over it. They've left over what I would call the Voter Protection Act, or voter integrity. That's what I would call what they're supposed to be either voting on or rejecting in the case of the Democrats. But the Democrats don't even want to see it go to the floor. They don't want to vote on it, so they've left. Well, here's where my hang-up is, because not so long ago, in fact, I want to say it was last year, a bunch of Oregon Republicans fled the state to keep some horrendous gun laws from passing in this state, which definitely would have had the Republicans been there. The Democrats rule the legislature here in the state, and we've got the brainless Kate Brown, who's the governor. Yeah, they would have passed those ridiculous gun laws. And I mean, they were absolutely ridiculous. And they violated the Second Amendment, which you see clearly behind my back, maybe, which is the Second Amendment right to bear arms. So here's where I have an issue with it. Why was it back here in Oregon okay for the Republicans to say, yes, we need to flee the state, we don't need this bad legislation going through? And I remember seeing some Republican voices from across the country more or less cheering on the state Republicans for leaving to prevent a bad bill from passing. And yet now I'm hearing Republicans that are blasting the Democrats for leaving. Why is it good for the Republicans to leave, but it's not good for the Democrats? On the same token, the hypocrisy is great, because the Democrats were crying foul when the Republicans left the state of Oregon. They wanted them arrested. They wanted them thrown in prison for not doing their job. And the list goes on of the complaints the Democrats are making. But now that it's a bunch of Democrats leaving, all the Democrats are like, oh, that's a good thing. They need to do this. They need to stop that bad measure from happening. What am I talking about? Simply is just the hypocrisy in our U.S. politics amongst our states and to some degree amongst our nation. This hypocrisy that it's okay for you to do, but it's not okay for me to do, and vice versa. It kind of seems to go along the lines with what we have seen here very recently, where Nancy Pelosi's husband put a bunch of stocks in or calls. I'm not sure if he put puts or calls, or if he shorted, or if he bought stock. Either way, because of a bill that went before Nancy Pelosi, and the buying of electric vehicles for the federal government, her husband made millions of dollars. And yet we don't call that insider trading. But if I were to have done that, say for instance, I was a federal employee and I knew this bill was coming forward, and more than likely Nancy Pelosi was going to vote on it for sure, and it would have passed. And so I knew this was going to happen. I go out and buy a bunch of stock in, let's just say, Tesla, then I could be a rich man. But I would be held accountable for insider trading. But it's okay for the politicians to do it. Now, I'm not just blasting Nancy Pelosi, because the Republicans have done this in the past as well. So, simply put, I'm fed up with the hypocrisy of our politics in our country, where They blast one party for doing something. Meanwhile, their own party does that same thing, sometimes quite frequently. Those are my thoughts. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Yes, indeed, I'm sporting a new haircut. I had an accident with the clippers last night. Didn't mean to make it this short, but had to fix the problem. Thus, the hair was all removed. Anyway, thanks for watching. God bless. Take care. We'll see you next time.